Hey everyone, welcome to the Bitcoin video. Today it is June 1st, 2020. It's about 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'd like to give a real quick update on Bitcoin. I want to take a look at where things are, where I think things are going. And of course, before I get into any of this, this is not financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor. You are responsible for your own trades, managing your own risk, doing your own research. I'm just giving my opinion on the market. So let's go ahead and take a look and see where we are. All right, so I was looking at this. I have a really nasty looking fib pull on here, but there's some important parts to this that I do want to talk about. So what I've been looking at here, if I take a look at this, and what I'm trying to outline here is a push from the top up here and pulling ourselves down here to this low, and then this push up. And where did this push up go? Okay, so we've basically got a push down, a push up, and then we're starting to push down again. Okay, and what I can see us doing is doing basically an extension or an expansion to the upside to the 138.2% expansion to the upside. So, as far as an expanded flat is concerned, it's very likely this thing will probably come back to about 9,300. Okay, it's very likely this goes back to 9,300. I will be very interested in buying down there for a swing. But a couple things that I'm seeing, we're in a very big chop zone. So yesterday I bought some Ripple and I sold it actually just right before going live here, just because it's not moving. There's a lot of stuff going on in the markets right now. There's a lot of political turmoil in the United States. There's just so much going on. It's really hard to tell what's going to happen next. If you take a look at some of the indicators that we've got here, just very conflicted. We had a push up here. You can see we had a 12-hour bearish cross on the indicators a couple days ago, right? So that would have been right here. And then yesterday, or maybe that was this morning, yeah, this morning, we had a bullish cross again on this. Just taking a look at the way that this is working itself out, it's just very hard to really have any amount of certainty which direction this is going to go. Again, you can see the bearish cross here, and it looked like it was starting a stronger bear trend, and then we had a little bit of a bullish cross here. Not a whole lot of conviction behind it. We did have the 3-hour, right? So you can see the 3-hour here has crossed bullish. The 1-hour it looks terrible. It looks terrible. It's hard to get a good read on that. So we're on an hourly chart. So this hourly stoke should look kind of smooth because it's the time frame that we are focused on, time frame that we are actively paying attention to. And I'm still not really seeing a whole lot of clear indication that we're going to be moving in any direction. What I can see here is the 3-hour is saying we're going to be moving up. I can see here the 12-hour is just kind of just moving sideways. There's not a whole lot here, so the trend is flat. And if you take a look at the hourly, it looks like it wants to go down. So which is stronger? Which is stronger? Well, you can definitely see here that on our longer time frame, so our 12-hour time frame, it's overbought. But if you take a look at the very low time frame, it's also overbought and working its way down. But if you take a look at our midterm, so our 3-hour time frame, you have this thing trying to curl up. But you have this 3-hour that's trying to curl up, but at the same time, what's the price doing? The price is just moving sideways. It's just ranging. And in my opinion, this is just kind of given this time to just kind of move itself up. So in other words, I'm seeing ourselves have this push down and our pullback here to create a little bit of an expanded flat. And we had our 1382 expansion to the upside. All right, so let me just go ahead and clear this off now that we know what that is. There's just so much going on in this chart. I'm going to change the way that this is labeled because I'm not a real big fan of how that is labeled. This is a lot easier for me to be able to see and explain it to you guys. I've been talking for a while about the importance of 9,300. I'm going to continue touting 9,300 as a really important level for us to keep an eye on. Couple things that we've seen, okay? I do always keep my Bollinger Bands on here. I don't talk about them a lot. I'm going to talk about the Bollinger Bands for just a moment because what I tend to see is, especially on a 30-minute time frame, I tend to see us testing the upper and the lower so much. Unless you have a major expansion like we had here. I would say this is a major expansion, in which case it usually is followed by a rip in the opposite direction. Okay, if our Bollinger Bands are tight, more often than not, if these things are moving sideways on a tight range, I would consider this to be moving sideways in a tight range. I would consider what we're currently in to be moving sideways in a tight range. Even this right here, as it's contracting, I would consider that to be a tight range of sorts. Almost always, if we test one point and we get a good clear rejection off of it, we're almost guaranteed we're going to test the opposite Bollinger Band. Okay, that's exactly what happened there. And what happened up here? We had a test of the upper band, and then we had a test of the lower band. Okay, so you could see this as a short and then close the short, not necessarily go long, right? You get one opportunity for this. And then up here, we had a nice expansionary phase to the downside, which was followed by what? A move in the opposite direction to the upside. Okay, and then when we tested this up here, well, what happened? We had a test of the bottom. Okay, and then what happened? We had a test of the top. We had a test of the top actually a few different times where it looked like it was going to break to the upside, but what ended up happening, we tested the bottom. Now we are testing the top. We had a decent rejection there, if you ask me. And what should happen next? We should test the bottom. Now, the question is, this time, are we going to just test the bottom and then move back up? Or is this going to be something very similar to this over here, where we actually do break down and move to the downside? That is what we are so conflicted with right now. If I take a look at this on a higher time frame, let me just go ahead and move to a higher time frame and take a look at this from a different perspective. I'm going to move myself to a 4-hour time frame. I'm going to start looking at some 4-hour blocks. Okay, I'm going to move my way all the way over. I'm going to get this tool here, my fib channel. I'm going to move my way all the way over here. I see this level for the top to be important. Okay, I'm going to move my way over to the right there, and let's go ahead and move my way down to the bottom. I'm going to use 9,300 as the bottom. That's going to be a good bottom for me. And based on that, let me just tell you where I'm getting this from. I'm going to remove some of these horizontals that I have drawn on here. I think they're pretty self-explanatory what they are. But let's just take a look at this for a moment. I've also got the top up here. I'll clean that off. All right, so what do we have here? All right, well, first off, we have support right there, and then a resistance. And then we've got resistance right here. You can take a look at the candle closures. Again, I'm on a 4-hour time frame. Look at the candle closures. Then we had tried to push up above, and we had a clear rejection off of that. And this was off of the 618 of a larger structure. But this level here at about 9,800 is pretty important resistance. I'm still short from 9,800 back here. Okay, I am short from 9,800 back here. Now, I did attempt to get long back here at about 88, and I got stopped out down here, and I'm still pretty frustrated about it, but it happens. I got stopped out down here. I was trying to hedge a long position, and this would have been a really, really great position to be in, but I missed out on it, and that's okay, because sometimes that's just what happens. Now, what am I seeing? What am I seeing? I'm seeing this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's pretty clear that we have a 5-wave structure here. So again, 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into the 3, 4, 5. So this seemed to work out pretty well. And we didn't quite hit the top of our channel here that we have drawn out, but it was pretty close. Okay, so again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This 5 goes right here. All right, and then kind of going back to this. From back here, we've got down here, we have a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, and then our final 5 move there on a higher degree. I'm going to throw that to submicro and give this a nice white color. So we've got a decent subdivision here. This is on a 4-hour time frame, so I can easily move down to like a 2-hour time frame. You can see the subdivision just a little bit better. So from down here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. To end that move, that is a nice candidate to end the move. Okay, so I would say with a high degree of probability, we're probably going to be going down from here, probably going down, and my guess is we're probably going to retest 9,300. I think we're going to 9,300. And again, let me explain why I think we're going to 9,300. I'm going to remove my channel here, but before I do, just note that we are just kind of hovering and chopping right here at the median of this. So right here at about 95.50, that's the median of this. You know, we had some support here, we had some resistance here at the median, we had resistance here, support back here. Then we had some resistance, a little bit of support, a little bit of resistance. Now we're kind of expecting this to be support, but I'm expecting it to fall. So let me remove that and just kind of show you one more thing here. I know I've got a lot of different variations on the count right now, so I apologize if it's just a little, complicated. But again, it's just pretty choppy for the time being. So if I move here from our dominant pivot high to our dominant pivot low, which is going to be right about there, we're getting some resistance at the 618. Okay, so this is what we would want to see. We want to see resistance at the 618, and it happened to be at the top of our Bollinger Band, right? And we got rejected from there. Algo targets the downside, $9,292, and that kind of goes in line with this 9,300 that I keep talking about. But if you're taking a look at candle closures right here at 92.90 or 92.86, you know, this seems to fall pretty well. So we definitely have support based on that line here. Another support here. Didn't take that out quite as far, but look at the candle closures right here. That's perfect. And then we have resistance right here. We had another point of resistance right here. And guess what hasn't been tested as support? 9,300. We got close right here, but it wasn't, in my opinion, enough to count that as support. So for that reason, I'm waiting. Because, you know, in all honesty, what I can see is that there's a lot of confusion in the market right now. I think it's not really worth it to be too deep in the market right now, just because we're all the way up here. We're a couple $100 shy of 10,000, and you know, historically speaking, let me move to a different chart. I'm just going to go to Coinbase and just make sure I don't really have a whole lot on this chart. Yeah, I don't really have a whole lot on here. You know, we've talked about this quite a bit, but I want to focus on one other thing here. Let me just kind of move and get rid of all of that. I'm going to move to a 3-day time frame so that it's easier to see this. So I'm on a 3-day time frame now, and I'm going to move from let's see here. How do I want to do this? Let me just go ahead and clear off everything that's on here. So I'm just going to move everything off of this chart. I'm going to go back to my fib channel. I'm going to go to the top here. I'm going to go to this line right here. And let's go ahead and pull this down to right about there where we had our first capitulation low at 6,000. And let's just look at this for a moment. What do we see here? We see some upside potential. I definitely do see some upside potential. And this would take us all the way up to about 11,000, okay? Very, very possible that we make our way up to 11,000. I'm not going to bet on it though, right? So if the price is at 95, 9,600, for this to go up, you know, $1,000, right? It's not, I mean, really you should have bought back here. You should have bought back at 5,000, 6,000 even. It's not really worth it because we are at a point here where, and if there's another level here that you can't really see, but let me just let me see if I can find it exactly where it's at. It's probably at 12.5%, so I think that's 0.125. Pretty close. Let's try 12% or just even 10%. That's a little better. It's just another diagonal inside of this fib. It doesn't have anything to do with any kind of relationship with Fibonacci. I'm just pulling in this 10%. So we're basically 10% from the top is really what this is identifying. We're 10% from the top of this. And you can see we've had resistance here, 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 and we're trying to have resistance there again. It's at about 98.50 right now. And, you know, I got to tell you, unless we can push up above this, I have to be bearish right now. I do have to be bearish right now. This looks like it wants to break out big time. Big time this looks like it wants to break out. But I know we've talked about this in the past, but let's just take a look at this here real quick. We've got this guy right here, which we've kept an eye on for years, right? We've been looking at that for a long, long time. All right, so the question is WXYXZ, so this may be into a WXY, which is probably on a larger A. We've talked about this, we've gone over this numerous times. Okay, we've gone over this chart numerous times, and let's just take a look. Where could we be going? Taking our fib retrace, again going from the top, dominant pivot high to our dominant pivot low. On a linear scale, we had right here at 13,488.49, we have basically our golden zone rejection. Okay, we had a golden zone rejection there. I still remember the day, it was June 24th, and we were talking, this is right here inside of the golden zone. We're right in the golden zone right now. We should be selling right now. And we didn't. I mean, it is what it is. But as far as our target to the downside, I'm going to go back to a log scale. This goes back to 2000. I don't think we're going to go that low, but that is the algo target. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that we're going down to 2000 because I'm not that bearish. I'm not that bearish. But I will say that we should probably keep an eye on this chart here. Keep an eye, excuse me, on where this could potentially be falling to. If I move this back down here to this low right down here at 31.28, let me remove this guy. If we come back down even to the green line, right, the longer that this takes, and I tend to believe that we're probably going to bottom sometime in the beginning of July. We're probably going to bottom if we move back down. Even if we come back down here, we're still talking about prices all the way down to like 4,700. That would be kind of low. If we stay within this range for the next month, still possible for this to come down to 7,000. I think it'll actually go a little bit lower. But we're definitely seeing a nice possibility for a move to the upside. So if we bottomed, right? So if we did bottom, and it's very, very, very likely that we could have, our target here, so if that was a 1, because there's a nice 5-wave structure, we've counted this before. If that's a 1, this was a 2, well, so we're getting resistance here at the 618, which is to be expected. But a bullish target is going to be $42,916. So I'm sitting here talking about bearish targets. I also have to look at bullish targets. The bullish target for this, if this is a wave 1 and we just completed the wave 2 down here at 38.58, that was a nice capitulation and a nice recovery. I have to keep that into perspective. Okay, a bullish target would be $43,000. I know that sounds crazy. Sounds absolutely crazy when we've all been in bear mode for the last 2 years, right? All of 2018, all of 2019. I mean, 2019, the first half was pretty euphoric. But honestly, take a look at this. We went from 13,900 all the way down to 3,858. I mean, what is that? What is that? How much of a decrease is that? We went down 72%. That's pretty unbelievable. When we had just gone up, what, 300 or 400% from the bottom back here? That was a push up of 341%. So we pushed up 341%, then we dropped 70%. 70%. 72%. How is that a bull market? It's not a bull market yet. But then here we are. We have actually pushed up 150% from the bottom again. Again, we've gone up 150%. So let's say we go up 300%. Where's that going to take us? Right there, it takes us to 17. 17. Very easily, we can make our way up to 17. We come back, we retest this right here, which is probably going to be at about 10,000, right? We're looking at November here. And then we move our way up to this 43,000 mark. I'm not going to sit here and tell you we're going to hit $43,000. I'm also not going to sit here and tell you we're going to hit $2,000. I'm not too concerned about where the price is going to go in a year from now. What I am most concerned about is where I think it's going in the short term, because that's what I try and trade here. What I can see here, and I think it's also something that Sacred Order has brought up, the fact that there is a shoulder and a head and another shoulder in the making right here with our neckline, which is actually on an upward slant, which means it's probably not going to go down as far as he thinks it is. It's probably going to stop here at 9,000 if this does happen to play out. Very possible that it does. It's probably not going to come as low as you expect. And the only reason I say that, again, I'm going to say it one more time here, is the fact that we have an upward channel here, okay? When you have a neckline that has a bullish neckline, which means that it is moving in an upward fashion, when this finally does break down, it's probably not going to go back to where it started, which it started right here. But since we have a bullish neckline, it's probably not going to go down as far. Again, I'm expecting 93. That's what I'm going to be paying attention to. That's what I'm going to be keeping an eye on. I'm going to be paying attention to 9,300. And again, the reason why I think 9,300 is so important, let's just pull this out. I mean, really the level should be right here at about 92.81. I'm calling it 9,300. It wouldn't surprise me if it went down just a little bit more beyond that. I see lots of support here, more support, some resistance, and then a bigger push down here. Some resistance and then a push up, and we haven't tested that really yet. You know, one could say that we have tested it to a certain degree, where we've got this level here all the way up to that level there, and we've got this range where we have tested this. And I would say that there probably is a little bit of merit to that. And you know, you can take a look at this cluster right here. If I pull this up just a little bit more, you can see that, yeah, there is some merit to that. Still some resistance here, but it just seems to flow straight through here. So if it comes down and breaks down below 94, probably is going to make its way back down to 93, maybe a little bit lower pretty easily. I would expect that to get bought up if we do make it there. I expect that to get bought up. Something that I can see here, very easy to see, a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A, B, C into the 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into the 3, and then a 4. 4 would be right there, and then we complete the 5. Okay, that's the completion. That's a pretty complete structure, if you ask me. Then we start the correction. Again, corrections go in how many waves? They go in 3 waves. So we have A, B, C into the A, B, C into the B. We would expect the rejection to be there. And then we go down for the C. Again, 9,300. Let's see what kind of technical backing we have beyond that retrace. Going from here all the way up to the top. All right, so we've got the 382 at 93.16. We've got the 50 at 9,200, so maybe it does go a little bit further. We don't know what's going to happen just quite yet. What I can tell you is that the 12-hour looks like it wants to move down hard. But we've seen the 12-hour hang out up there for a significant period of time before. You know, we come up and then we move back a little bit, then we go up again. You know, it's very easy for us to kind of get blinded by the way that the indicators are pointing. But you also have to realize that even though we had a bearish cross on the 12-hour a couple days ago, we have a bullish cross on the 12-hour right now, which is just adding to the confliction here. So what's my plan? All right, I'm going to go ahead and wrap things up here. What's my plan? And howdy to you all on the YouTube chat. I appreciate you guys joining me today. My plan right now is to be short. And if we move ourselves down to 9,300, I will go ahead and hedge long. I'll probably do an equal-sized hedge long at about 93. And honestly, I'm probably going to hold both of those positions until one of them stops out. And I'm going to give a nice wide stop on those. Just because things are looking very conflicted. If you've seen any of my stock videos, and if you haven't seen any of my stock videos, it's probably because you aren't on our Discord. Throw in a comment in the YouTube chat here, and I can get you an invite code if you're not on there. But if you've seen any of my stock scans, you know that if I see the indicators looking like this, I would not recommend a position. This is just not something for me to buy. It's not something for me to short either. It's just not a good asset to be getting into any new positions. Sure, this thing could rocket. This thing could rocket another, $1,000-$2,000. But from what I can see again, I don't see that this is something that is worth buying right now. There's a lot of other things out there. There's a lot of other things out there you could be buying. Tom, I just sent you a link. It's in the YouTube chat, and I don't see anything, in Bitcoin that says buy me. We've had lots of other opportunities to buy Bitcoin. Lots of opportunities. The last opportunity, the real opportunity that we had was here at about 8,800, right? So we're talking about that, and I got stopped out. It is what it is. I should have held it, but hindsight's 2020, right? So it doesn't do me any good if I'm out of the position. But this was the last place the indicator said buy. To be fair, it didn't say to sell over here, and now the two places that it did trigger to sell would have been back here. Actually, it was right here about the top here at about 93, and then the next place was going to be right over here, right around 95.75, right around where we are right now. So even if you did take that buy and you got out over here, well, if you get back in, you're not really missing out on anything because you just basically avoided all of this chop. You avoided all of this chop. Sorry about that, Tom. Let me try that again. So I'm just going to kind of wait. I'm going to wait and see. And let's get a new link here and see how this one goes. All right. So I think that's about it for now. Again, I'm going to be waiting for 93. I think 93 is very important for us. So I'm just going to sit here and wait for that. But of course, in the meantime, if you do have any questions, you can go ahead and throw in a comment in the YouTube chat, and I will do my best to answer your questions. And wherever you are in the world, I hope you're having a good day, good night, good evening. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay safe, be nice, and take care, everyone.